You're not watching this because everything is fine. You're watching this because something inside you is trying to find a reason to keep going. I see you, and I need you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to tell you might be the thing that saves you. Right now, at this exact moment, somewhere in America, a 29-year-old is sitting in an empty apartment after a relationship ended that they thought would last forever. Somewhere, a 34-year-old is staring at a bank account that says they're one missed payment from losing everything. Somewhere, a 22-year-old just got told the dream they sacrificed everything for isn't working out. Somewhere, someone is pretending to be okay at work when they haven't been okay in months. And maybe, right now, that someone is you. You're not broken in a way that's rare. You're broken in a way that's human. The kind of broken that happens when you care deeply, when you try fully, when you put yourself out there completely, and life hits back harder than you expected. That's not weakness. That is the price of having been fully alive. And I know it doesn't feel that way right now. Right now, it just feels like pain. So let's start there. In Japan, when something breaks, they don't throw it away. They fill the cracks with gold. The word for this is kintsugi, and I want you to hold on to that word. We're coming back to it. I want to tell you about James. James was 31. He had built what looked like the perfect life from the outside. Good job. Nice apartment in Atlanta. Engaged to someone he loved. And then, in the span of 8 months, it all came apart. His company downsized. He was let go on a Tuesday with no warning. 3 months later, his fiancée left, said she needed someone more stable. And 2 months after that, his father died. James told me later, I didn't just feel broken. I felt erased. Like everything I'd used to define myself had been taken off the board, one piece at a time. And I didn't know who I was without any of it. He stopped going out. He stopped answering calls. He spent 3 months barely leaving his apartment. People who knew James said they barely recognized him. But here's what nobody saw during those 3 months. James was doing something in the dark, something quiet, something small, something that most people would have overlooked entirely. We'll come back to James. The fight isn't over when you fall. It's over when you decide the floor is where you live. Here's what they never teach you about being broken. It's not a detour from your story. It is your story. Every person you have ever admired, every life that has ever inspired you, has a chapter that looked exactly like this one. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter as a single mother on welfare, clinically depressed, manuscript rejected 12 times. Abraham Lincoln lost 8 elections, had 2 business failures, and suffered a complete nervous breakdown before he became the leader who held a nation together. Brené Brown, the researcher who taught the world about vulnerability, spent years in her own darkness before she understood that breakdown is often the prerequisite to breakthrough. These aren't feel-good footnotes. These are architectural facts about how transformation works. You cannot build something real without first going through something that tests whether you're serious about building it. The pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. And I know, that's hard to hear when you're in the middle of it. When the pressure doesn't feel like preparation, it just feels like pressure. So let me tell you what to do with it. Nothing that ever became strong got there without being tested first. Nothing. When you feel broken, your instinct is to hide it, to perform okayness, to post the highlight reel while the behind the scenes is collapsing. Stop! The hiding is what extends the breaking. The mask is what keeps the wound from healing. The first thing you have to do, and this is hard, is let yourself be where you are. Not forever, not without a plan, just for right now. Stop fighting the fact that right now is hard. You don't have to be okay today. You just have to be here today. The second thing, and this might surprise you, get small. When the world feels too big to face, don't try to face the whole world. Face the next hour, not the next year, not the next chapter, the next 60 minutes. Can you eat something? Can you drink some water? Can you go outside for 10 minutes? That's it. That's the whole assignment. Because here's what I've learned about people who make it through the worst seasons of their lives. They didn't make it through by being strong every day. They made it through by doing one small thing on the days they had nothing left. One call, one walk, one page, one breath, and then another, and then another, until, without even realizing it, they were moving again. We're halfway through, and I need to ask you something you might not want to answer. What if this breaking, right now, is the most important thing that's ever happened to you? I know how that sounds. Believe me, I'm not here to tell you pain is a gift while you're bleeding from it. That's not what this is. But I need you to stay with me. Because on the other side of your hardest seasons, people consistently report the same thing. Psychologists call it post-traumatic growth. It's not just surviving the hard thing, it's becoming more because of it. More empathetic, more clear, more real. Stripped of the things you were carrying that were never really yours to carry. The version of you on the other side of this. They are not the same person who walked in. They're more honest about what matters. More immune to the small things that used to derail you. More equipped to help someone else who one day finds themselves sitting exactly where you are now. Because that's the other thing breaking does that nobody talks about. It gives you language. It gives you the ability to sit with someone in their darkness and say, with your whole chest, I know this place, and I know the way out. Your pain is becoming your purpose, even if you can't see it yet, even if it just feels like pain. Fire doesn't destroy a forest, it clears it. So something new can grow that couldn't grow before. Remember that word, kintsugi? The Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. The philosophy isn't just about objects. It's about the belief that what has been broken and repaired is more beautiful, more valuable than what was never broken at all. Because the cracks show the history, the gold shows the resilience, and the whole piece shows this survived. Your cracks are not your shame. They are your gold. The relationships that broke you and what they taught you about love. The failure that humiliated you and what it taught you about strength. The loss that hollowed you out and what it taught you about what actually matters. All of it, gold. Not because pain is pretty, because what you did with it, what you're doing with it right now by still being here, still choosing to look for a way forward, that is the most beautiful thing a human being can do. Remember James? Here's what he was doing during those 3 months, alone, in his apartment, barely leaving. He was writing, not for anyone, not for publication, just writing. Every morning, 3 pages, whatever was in him, grief, rage, confusion, memory. He poured all of it onto the page because he had nowhere else to put it. By month 3, he had something unexpected. A voice, his own voice, clear and honest and hard-won, that he'd never had access to before the breaking. He started a newsletter, shared some of what he wrote. Within 6 months, 12,000 people were reading it. People who wrote to him and said, I thought I was the only one who felt this way. James didn't rebuild the life he lost. He built something better. Something real, something only possible because of what he went through. He told me recently, if I could go back and skip the breaking, I wouldn't. Because the breaking is what made me into someone worth knowing. You are still here. After everything that tried to take you out, you are still here. That is not a small thing. That is everything. The fact that you pressed play today, that some part of you reached for something instead of nothing, that is the part of you that knows you're not done. Listen to that part. Because the world doesn't need the version of you that never struggled. That version has nothing real to offer. The world needs this version. The one who went through it. The one who sat in the dark and didn't know how to get up and got up anyway. The one who is still choosing, still reaching, still breathing, when every reason to stop made total rational sense. That person, the one you're becoming inside this breaking, they are going to do something in this world that no one who was never broken could ever do. They're going to reach into someone else's darkness with a hand that knows the way and pull them toward the light. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being repaired slowly, imperfectly, with gold in every crack. And when it's done, when you look back at this chapter from the other side, you will understand something that cannot be explained, only lived. This was not where your story ended. This was where it finally began. You're still here. That means you're still in it. Keep going. If this reached you today, type "still here" in the comments, because someone is going to scroll through those comments in their darkest moment, and those two words are going to remind them they're not alone. Share this with someone who's going through it right now. You might not know the right words to say to them. Let this be the words.